Lesson 8. Letting go of suffering and experiencing unconditional love. In this lesson, we are going to discuss a very important tool in regards to learning how to awaken to love and enjoyment. In this lesson, we are going to talk about how to let go of suffering and to live at every moment with unconditional love and ever increasing enjoyment. Learning how to love unconditionally and experiencing ever-increasing enjoyment is a wonderful byproduct resulting from being aware that you can create and experience whatever you want in truth. During every single moment of experiencing something, you are given a choice. This choice is very simple. It's a very simple choice, and it is choosing whether to enjoy this current experience or not. You are a cause of your reality, and this means you can choose to look at life through the eyes of love and enjoyment or the eyes of acceptance and suffering. To repeat this, you are a cause of your reality, and this means you can choose to look at life through the eyes of love and enjoyment or the eyes of unacceptance and suffering. You can choose to experience reality in a forever lasting way consisting of the complete letting go of suffering and experiencing eternal enjoyment instead. In this video, we are going to teach you how to experience everything regardless of what it is with unlimited enjoyment and no feelings based on suffering. It is possible to experience any kind of experience with enjoyment, even if these experiences include things that you currently believe are uncomfortable. This includes getting hurt, feeling upset, feeling sad, tired, or being sick. In truth, these experiences are enjoyable as well. You just simply believe that they aren't. We are going to teach you why these feelings in truth are enjoyable and how you can make yourself experience every feeling, including feelings that currently make you uncomfortable, into feelings that are enjoyable. We are currently conditioned to believe that we can only experience love and enjoyment only during specific times. However, this is not the truth. In truth, any situation is enjoyable. We are now in the process of realizing that everything is enjoyable again. This is done by learning how to release suffering. Once you learn that suffering is an illusion and that every experience is enjoyable and worthy of love, your enjoyment will increase to a forever increasing level, and suffering will completely go away. In truth, there is no limit to the amount of enjoyment you can experience on something. Everything and every experience you can experience has the potential for you to enjoy it to an unlimited level. Everything has an infinite depth of enjoyment that you can harness from it. The reason why there is no limit to how much joy you can experience in any given thing is because the universe is unlimited and constantly expanding. Everything is infinitely enjoyable in its own unique way. Everything has an infinite depth. Everything has an infinite depth within its form. The unlimitedness within each object is also expanding within its unlimitedness depth furthermore, so the amount of enjoyment you can experience by simply putting your awareness on something is boundless. So in other words, everything has unlimited depth. Infinite depth, in other words. Imagine how wonderful it would be to not suffer anymore. Imagine not being afraid of anything. Imagine making a decision and not worrying about an outcome that could bring you unhappiness. Imagine creating something and not worrying about how it will turn out. Imagine someone insulting you and not being upset, but loving them instead. Imagine not ever feeling stressed. Imagine not ever feeling stressed. Imagine the amazing things you could do without fear. Imagine how amazing life would be. Imagine how amazing it is to simply pick one thing out of the infinite universe and enjoy the infinite depths of its uniqueness and experience of unlimited enjoyment from it. Well, I'm sure this sounds great, and now we are going to talk about how you can master this. The first thing you can do to help you let go of suffering and experience unconditional love and enjoyment is simply believing that everything is amazing and enjoyable. Whatever you experience something that is physically painful and makes you suffer, understand that in truth that it is enjoyable too. That it is also amazing and enjoyable. For example, if you get a cut, if you get sick, if you have a migraine, if you feel tired but have to force yourself to stay awake, understand that you can release the suffering in these feelings and that you can enjoy these experiences too. The next time you feel pain, understand that you can let the suffering go and you can enjoy the feelings instead with unconditional love. This is going to take practice. Mastering this involves the same exact principles as breaking an old habit and creating a new habit. Right now, you are currently conditioned to believe that pain will make you suffer. The condition is simply a habit. You are in a habit of believing that you will suffer during certain conditions, and when these conditions are met, you will suffer as a result. This creates fear, which brings even more suffering. If you get into the habit of believing that this pain doesn't make you suffer, then you won't suffer. Get into the habit of believing that the pain is actually enjoyable. The next time you feel pain, focus on the fact that the pain in truth doesn't make you suffer, and that it's actually something enjoyable instead. When you focus on that, you will notice the suffering will go away. Get into the habit of recognizing when you often feel feelings of suffering. Learn to know that when you are sad, when you're unhappy or angry or feel jealous, this is a feeling often stemming from the fact that you are not accepting or loving something, and this is causing suffering as a result. Try to change your beliefs of not loving certain things to loving everything. It might take some time, and it may feel strange to do this at first, but don't give up. The mastery will come once you put enough effort. Set a chart to let yourself know how much progress you've made in terms of letting go of suffering and replacing these feelings with love. Make check marks whenever you succeed on loving something that would typically give you feelings that are opposite. Set a goal each day to master this little by little. Set a chart that is easy for you to follow so you can see the progress you've made, so you can see how well you are doing and what areas you still need to improve on. Learn to let go of attachments. Attachments are things in your life that if you were not to have them anymore, it would bring suffering. In truth, you can be perfectly in peace and enjoyment no matter what you have and don't have in life. Profit, gain, abundance, or loss. It is okay to desire things as long as it's simply a preference and not an attachment. When you prefer something, you desire something in a way where you are not creating fear and suffering that would manifest if this is desired wouldn't get met. If you have fear connected to something you want or afraid to lose, then you are attached to it. Try to practice wanting things as preferences instead of attachments. Try to premeditate the idea that you will not be upset when desiring something if you are not to receive it. Visualize it with utmost color and clarity. Try to do things that would typically make you suffer and try to practice experiencing these feelings with enjoyment. For example, if it's cold out, try to stand outside for 5 minutes without a jacket and try not to let that feeling that could make you suffer and believe that it's actually enjoyable. Of course, I don't suggest you to freeze to death and get hypothermia, but practice letting go of suffering in ways that are safe and won't deter your health. You may want to live long enough to teach other people how to do this. Stand outside in short increments and try to accept the cold in short increments. The more you do it, the better you'll be able to accept and not suffer through cold. You will notice it will be uncomfortable at first, But if you try to focus on believing that this feeling can be pleasurable without any limits, you will be surprised how quickly you'll suddenly tolerate it and not suffer in it. I've personally rode my bike outside over an hour straight in 20-degree temperature without a jacket. When I did this, I did not suffer and actually had fun instead. I wouldn't suggest doing this and risk getting frostbitten, but I'm sharing this as an example to let you know that this can be done. You can also practice the same approach with other things that can make you suffer, but not related to physical pain. These include sadness, guilt, fear, jealousy, feeling offended, and simply hate. Think of people you dislike or even hate. Instead of hating them, try to unconditionally love them by focusing on things about them that are good. Think of times where people have offended you in the past. For example, think of that one ex you had that treated you terrible. Think about all the terrible things that that person did. Then try to look at that person with immense love and forgiveness. Try to see if you can visualize that person who took advantage of you in the past with compassion and love. See if you can forgive them. It may be tough to do at first, but you will be surprised how quickly you'll suddenly start forgiving them if you do this. If you release the negative feelings you have about this person, if you focus on the truth with enough intensity, the truth of love and enjoyment. The next time you feel jealous of someone, understand that you are connected to everything in truth and that you can create things if you focus on it enough. Understand that other people's successes are your successes as well. The next time you are sad about something, know that in truth, you have the ability to choose to look at this situation in a way that brings joy instead of suffering. Spend time each day and think of situations that you would typically be afraid of. Visualize yourself in a situation that would provoke your biggest fears. Imagine that boss walking up to you and firing you. Imagine being in your most embarrassing situation you ever dreamed of, such as forgetting to wear your underpants at a corporate dinner party. Imagine waking up to that unapproachable girl and asking her on a date. Imagine being homeless without money and shelter. Imagine someone you are really close to passing away. Imagine all these experiences with vivid clarity, detail, and being in total peace. Imagine being in a state of total love, enjoyment, and acceptance by focusing on the feelings of truth, that you can experience everything with unlimited love and enjoyment. Do you think you could do that? Will the desire of experiencing eternal enjoyment without suffering give you enough motivation to confront your biggest fears? The truth is that you can handle any situation and not suffer. Role-playing these kinds of experiences is a great way to practice. The more you practice, the more you will release this faulty belief of suffering. It's now time to undo this old habit and create a new one. This new habit is knowing that suffering is an illusion and that everything is enjoyable and worthy of love. Get in the habit of realizing that whenever you feel fear, upset, hate, or anything else that makes you suffer, you can replace these thoughts with thoughts of unconditional loving and knowing that everything is enjoyable.